All right. What up? What's going on, family? Welcome to our third episode of Facts and Feelings Happy Hour. I am your host, Big Meech, and my co-host.
Dr. Fire checking in. I'm in the building.
And the doctor is real. Let's
Boom.
get into it. First of all, how was your weekend? What you do this weekend?
Weekend. Oh, it was on crack. I
I
just
say you
got
had a
back.
big one.
Yeah, well, before I went to Jamaica, and that was tons of fun for
Hey,
my
boom, clap,
16th.
clap, Jamaican.
Yes, all of that. Me and my line sisters went on our 16th Deltaversary trip. So we take a trip every year. I cannot believe I have been a Delta for 16 years.
That's a
One of the things that
long
I kind of wish is
time.
that I have been financial all 16
Oh,
of those years, but
that's all right. We
I
don't have to
haven't
get into
always been
that.
in a place to do that. But I'm happy to be returning to the sisterhood in a financial way this year. But anyway, went to Jamaica. And then afterwards, just everything has been on crack. Like I got
Mm,
back. I know at this ripe old age to take a day at least one day after
mhm.
vacation to rest because
Right.
the body just don't work the same. I took 2 days this time, but after those 2 days, things were on crack. I had a baby shower that I was helping to assist with. That's redundant, but I was helping with. And then I also had an event on Friday, my homeboy's graduation
Mhm.
celebration. And then I had to travel back and forth to another state for work all last week. So this weekend was ripping and running, but Sunday was sleep as long as you can. I try to have like a sleep
Ooh,
contest with
that's what
myself,
you need. Yes,
which
yes, yes,
doesn't
yes.
always work out well, but I did get some rest and I feel like I'm coming back into myself.
Because a lot
How
of times
was
the
you?
naps don't work, but
Oh, I don't
as
even
long as
take
you
naps.
resting,
I
yeah.
don't even take naps. That's like, it's hard for me to fall asleep in general. Naps is outside of my religion. I just feel like ever since I was a little kid, the little fat girl in me used to always miss the ice cream truck when I
Oh,
took a nap. And
oh
so
man.
I realized at the age of 8, if you just don't take a nap, you won't miss the ice cream man. And I'm not bullshit. This sounds so crazy, but that really was my 8-year-old fat girl logic.
But you know what? So nap trauma is a thing,
Yeah.
and from many different ways for Black people. Because I actually suffer from nap guilt. I don't
Mm.
take naps
Tell us
because
about it. What is nap guilt?
nap guilt is the guilt you feel when it's time to rest midday because there has to be something else you could possibly be doing that could be productive
That's
other
a
than
whole nother thing.
sleeping.
That's just guilt in general and not
It's
around
guilt.
productivity.
But yeah, but it's specific to nap guilt because I may not feel as bad if I was up not doing nothing.
Do
I
you
don't
feel
feel
bad when you
guilty.
go to sleep at night? It's
No.
just during the day. You
During
feel
the
like,
day,
yeah.
if I sleep during the day,
Uh-huh.
that time feels like it could have been optimized because again, nap trauma. That's what it was when I was a kid. Y'all like, ain't nobody sleep. I know ain't nobody sleeping. Them dishes ain't washed. I know ain't
Gotcha.
nobody sleeping this almost. What you sleep for? What you tired for? You ain't got no job. You know what I
I ain't
mean?
gonna
As if
hold
school
you.
isn't exhausting. School is definitely
Right.
exhausting for kids. But yeah, that's what it be.
Huh. I ain't gonna hold you. There's a whole did you watch that Killer Mike series he had on Netflix?
I sure did.
So the Nap Ministry.
Oh yes.
And
That
that
was
really
funny.
is a movement, and they tied scholarship to it. It's like the idea that you weren't allowed to rest when you were enslaved.
You
And now
weren't.
we've carried on that mindset of, I'm sure it's something you should be doing. So they talk about naps being like a righteous reclamation of our well being and rest.
Ooh.
But still, fuck that shit. I don't like naps. And I don't feel like I should be doing something. I would more likely take an hour from my day instead of napping and spend that time coloring or something. It's just sleeping. I don't fuck with sleep the way everybody else sleep fuck with it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like my wife loves sleep. Not for me.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I don't either. I'm pretty much up. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
there are times where I am tired and it's just like, man, I just need to lay down. But it's like, nah. Or then there's the thought too that if I sleep now, I ain't gonna go to sleep later. And then blah
Mm.
blah blah blah.
But you
But
fucked me
yeah,
up with that dementia, Alzheimer's sleep thing.
yeah.
Didn't you tell me
Like
about that,
I
right?
did, yeah.
Tell the folks
Oh,
what we
you know
talking
what? That
about.
could probably be a part of my put on. We gonna get into the put on next. But before we do, real quick, so there's a study that shows that people who struggle with sleep or staying asleep or just like sleep routines in our age now, like in an early age, like a young adult or just adult period, like middle age, those are the people that are higher, uh, more prone, I should say, to suffer from dementia or Alzheimer's.
Mm.
It's directly tied to sleep deprivation. And those people who like struggle, if you're just like, yeah, I don't know, I couldn't get to sleep, or I only slept 3 hours, or I never sleep, they're more likely to suffer from, or experience dementia or Alzheimer's. So baby, I go to bed. Now then going to sleep is never an issue for me, baby. If I sat down to hit one of the, you cross your, I said wherever I'm at, if I cross 10 minutes, baby, I'm gonna be up out of here. Yeah, I rub them feet together at the bottom. Yeah, up under the covers.
I think I've seen you do this before.
Listen to me. When it happens, I'm going down. It's gonna take about 30 seconds. Even if I fully feel like I'm up. Even if I be like, hey, you tired? Yes. No, I'm actually okay. You can put something on. Cancel it. When I lay down, it's over. It'd be like, damn.
Yeah. We were supposed to be watching Harlem, and you hit that on me.
Yeah. Fully up. We watch. Yeah. I love the show. Put it on. Put it on. Look over.
Nothing pisses me off more.
What is Megan Good doing now?
And you kept doing that. I was like, can you believe that? And you were like, no, I can't. That is wild. So frustrating. I was like,
turn it to my head. Turn it to my head. I'm you was very upset. Turn it off. I'm going down. Anyway, Megan Good is crazy. All right, boom. Next one we got coming up is the put on.
Wait, the put on is when we tell you something that we've been put on to recently, where something we've discovered in the last week or so, where we didn't know something, and then boom, we were put onto it. And of course, my good friend, my mentor, my grandmother inside my head, Dr. Maya Angelou, you see, as I am called Fire Angelou, Dr. Maya Angelou says, when you learn, teach. When you get, give.
Please.
So we ain't gonna be stingy with the shit. We gonna give it to you.
Let me tell you something, baby. I can't stand a gatekeeper. You hear me? Ooh. You know something, but now it's top secret information. Even though you learned it, now you just learned it. You got hip to it. For that reason, I want to go first.
Go for it,
because
please.
The put on for me isn't something that I'm new to, but I know that my people are right. My put on is AI. Right? You hear everybody talking about it. You hear it going.
Allen Iverson.
What is this? Absolutely not. Artificial intelligence.
Oh, okay.
Stay with me.
Thought we were talking about the answer.
No worries. Him also very great, very useful.
Like Allen Iverson.
Artificial intelligence is kind of always been around, but is now kind of running rampant, sweeping the nation, because it's becoming more prominent. And I feel like AI will be to our generation what the internet was to the baby boomers, right? One of them get with it or get lost or get left behind kind of things.
Yeah.
Those who, those baby boomers who felt like, I don't know what this internet mess is. I'm gonna still use and write this down. I'm gonna have my checkbook. I don't want to, eventually it will outphase you and then you'll be kind of stuck. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I encourage my people to look into it, look into Chat GPT. There are a bunch of free versions of it, and different versions of it that can help you. And just like anything. And I know it's like people are like, well, what does it do? But it's like everything. And it's difficult to kind of just like condense, but it's almost just like imagine there was a time, let's in relation to the internet, there was a time when we needed to look up something. We had to look it up in a library or a library book, or do the research to find it, or go look in that encyclopedia. And then Google happened. And it became as easy as typing your question into a thing and then researching your answer from what's provided. Take it a step further, and AI can do what you've asked it to do. So you type your question into Google. Instead, you type your task into AI. So, hey, build me a resume based on this.
But how does it do it? Like, I understand, but tell the folks, where is it pulling the data?
The internet. So it's almost like the evolution of the internet. The information that we all want and need is somewhere in the world. It's either on a reserve, in the Smithsonian, or on the internet somewhere, 1,000 different internet sites and browsers, even Google itself, who knows? But the information that we're looking for, we may have to dig for. Same like a Google search, you know what I mean? Like you may have to dig. You may find a bunch of different articles and you piece together some information to find what you want. Instead, just imagine something that searches the internet for you to put this together, right? And so it uses what's available, like and everything is available. Like information is infinite. And so it's just like you tell it to do something and it knows, okay, based off of the gazillion resumes on Indeed or on ZipRecruiter or Zillow, I know how to build you one based off of what you asked me to put it, right? So there's like references for everything. And I know it's difficult, but just literally imagine it being a virtual assistant that knows everything. And we use know relatively, obviously, because it's a machine. So you're trying to make it give it human characteristic, but it knows based off what's already available. It's not creating anything new for you. It's compiling information that's already available that if you did enough research, which may have taken your human mind, I don't know, a month to do, it's like, yeah, well, I can do this based off of what's available.
In the whole rub where people are really getting kind of nervous or antsy about it is that the more people, it reminds me of the IAT, which is the implicit associations test that was done by Harvard. So in the DEI landscape, if you took this little quiz on IAT.com or whatever, it would tell you that you have, like, based on your responses, that you more than likely have a bias towards this particular group, right? Just follow me here. Mm-hmm. But we found out, and what we know now is that associations test really isn't that good on the one-to-one basis. You could take that quiz and you could do it in terms of gender one day, and it'll say you have a bias against women or a bias in favor of men. But then you take it the next day and it got different results because it wasn't meant to do a one-to-one. But they did need millions and millions of people to take this association so that they can build aggregate data, which means they could say that 47% of women living in the South have a bias in favor of men, and whatever the opposite of 47 that equals 100, 63, I don't know, 53, whatever it is, have a bias against men in this group. But they needed everybody. They had to have everybody flood to this site to give it the information that they needed so they could create large aggregate data. Where I think people get concerned with AI is that the more that I use it for my menial tasks, right? Write me an out of office message. My homegirl just called me today. She's putting her baby in a new daycare, and the daycare contract has all this information about how they can end their service with this parent and the child. Like, we don't want your child to come back if these things happen. But there was not an agreement that says, if the child care center fails to do this, they can get out. So the place said, tell us what you want us to stipulate in the contract and we'll do it. So my homegirl called me like, help me with the language here. I said, don't worry about it. Chat GPT, here we come. And they gave us a bulleted list of 10 things that she can include over to them. But just by me using it and ask that question, it is starting to know, know human behavior, and it gets better and better and better. It is better
learned
until it becomes sentient and takes over and kills us in our house at night.
Listen,
that's what people be saying.
So people just be saying shit. Two things. I am so not above thinking that will happen. This world is its own demise, literally, and we all know that. I think even
I don't think we all know that.
No, I don't know. They'll say it. I feel Nikola Tesla certainly said it. He was like, yeah, it's definitely not a good thing.
And the man that invented Chat GPT just came out, or helped invent open source AI, said that he spent his life's work doing it and he regrets it. The same man, who was it, Truman, that was in office when we had the Federal Reserve and we adopted this debt system, he said this was a fucking
Elon Musk
mistake.
Is what I meant to say, not Nikola Tesla. Elon Musk is
but Tesla was, he was doing some weird stuff with electricity. But either way, a lot of them come out and say, yeah, this thing is dangerous and maybe I shouldn't have done it. And the guy who created open source AI said that.
Yep. He says it like, because you have to think that like you do something, and that's with anything. Like, you have to think of the perspective of everything. And granted, there are blocks and stops they build into it. You can type something crazy and it'll respond back to you and say, as a language model, I cannot, provide this information, or I do not know this information, but it's still a workable robot. So if you can, anything can be hacked. You know what I mean? If you work it enough and manipulate it enough, you can get what you want. If there's already tests saying that they gave it money to see if it could multiply the money, or if it could, get a return on the money and what it would do to do it. And it got to one of those reCAPTCHA things.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
it hired somebody. It used part of the money, like it gave it $50, and it was like, turn this $50 into 500 or whatever it is. Do whatever you need to do it. And so for whatever task it was doing to try to multiply the money, it needed to pass a
It was
recaptcha
like, are you
software.
a human being? Like,
Yeah,
tell us
so it
what the
hired
bus
somebody
is
else.
or
Yep. So
whatever.
it reached out to somebody on where you go to get the help from people. Uh
Fiverr.
Fiverr. Reached out to somebody on Fiverr
The
and
AI
said,
did.
the AI did.
Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson posed as a human and was like, "Hey, I'm having some trouble doing this
You
recapture.
see, you see,
I can't see." It said I was blind. It said I'm blind, so it knows how to manipulate, and
you see.
it doesn't have a moral compass because it said I'm blind. I can't see none of this. Can you help me? And the thing was like,
Oh
"Yeah, I guess
wow.
you gonna give me $10?" I was like, "Yeah, here's a portion of that money." Gave it $10, passed the recapture software, got that paper flipped. All I'm saying is, use it while you can, because not using it isn't like, it's not.
There
Unless
we
you got to
go.
go off the grid and live in a bunker,
And
not
there we
using it
go.
isn't to your
That's the
benefit.
moral of the story. That's where I come in with it. Right now, I'm using it as a competitive advantage for all of you people who are like, I ain't fooling with that. Don't worry about it.
Yep,
So you
don't.
waste your time writing a job description.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I'm going to give Chat GPT the business principles that I'm working within and ask them to draft a position description. You waste your time trying to figure
You
out that
think about
stuff.
like human thing, grant writing. You
Right.
need a grant, like that takes months. It takes people months. Can do it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If that. And I'm stressing the 5 minutes because it would take you the 5 minutes to receive the information to compose the grant. That's it.
Because per anything, if you are the one behind the curve, and more, we know that there's still lots of communities out there full of people of color that are not internet accessible. They don't even know nothing about out there on the internets and all that stuff. And again, all you're doing is falling behind. So until the government says that this is ours and they put it behind a paywall, you better get it while you can. So the thing is, when you're thinking about how this stuff can be of benefit, the idea is that it is helping you to get done with the mundane task. You still have to be able to execute that thing that you're writing. You still have to be able to actually do it, right? It's not taking away creativity right now, right? And if you're worried about using it or even learning about it right now, like Michi said, y'all gonna be fucked up in 5 years.
You'll be done. And then again, if you think about, like you just said, oh, it's going to take over, blah, blah, blah. To prevent that from happening, even if that's like a safe stop for that, would be to hire people who are familiar with it, so that if there ever came a time where it's like, hey, we got to stop the AI, it's humans against AI. How many humans are we going to have to, to fight it, defeat it?
That just sounds like the most pointless war. Humans against AI, you're going to lose.
I'm not losing shit. Shut all that shit down, unplug it, and get off of me. But that's what it's gonna be. Imagine, I think it's gonna be everywhere because they're gonna put it in cameras, street cameras, and it's gonna replace the police. They're already doing that. They got police bot dogs.
Yeah, I remember when I saw the video years ago that the little bot dog was out. Then I saw, like, years ago, it was like they were just trialing it out and they were trying to see if it could open doors and if it could jump up stuff. And then I saw the episode of Black Mirror where those little dogs end up taking over the whole world and they started building more of themselves. And then they killed off all the humans because
the moral of the story is parts,
a risk.
Though. Right. Robots are parts. Computer is parts. At the end of the everyday, unplug it.
Yeah.
Turn it off and turn it back on.
Unless it builds its own fail safe and then you can't unplug it and it got a backup power source.
Maybe a grenade is a grenade. All I'm saying is humans versus AI. If the dog is coming up, I don't have to wrestle with the dog. It's giving and pin and throw.
That's it.
And once you blow up, you're gonna put yourself back together. Then you got another problem. If they doing that,
problems on problems on problems.
They did. Well, you deserve whatever coming to you. If you didn't build something that once it destructs, it reassembles itself. Now you didn't open up another can. Oh, ass whooping. That's my put on though. What you got for the people? So y'all, just as a wrap up, get
how you gonna ask me and then wrap up?
I know because I forgot. Wrap up first. Get with it. Or get lost, or at least get with somebody that's with it. How about that? Because you don't have to know everything. Get with somebody that's with it.
You better touch the hem of somebody who knows about AI's garment and just
reach
hold
out.
on.
Reach and hold on. Ride with them.
Reach out and touch.
Not touch the hem.
Yeah, you got to, because they're gonna be your savior. Anybody that don't know how to use the internet, they need a friend right now. Okay, because my father. All right, here we go. So don't be those people. You just said something.
I was trying not to do my mama wrong. She do all right for her age. Just my daddy don't do it. He got frustrated.
Parents just don't understand, and they really
my mama
don't
put it together. My mama, hey, am I on the Wi-Fi? I don't want any of my. If I don't take my purse over her house because She put my purse on her Wi-Fi and steal my cards. Put my what? Don't even take my purse inside of her house for it to end up on her Wi-Fi.
Wow.
Jeez. And she said me, I'm out of Google Bites. Baby, what?
What? What?
Oh, I say my anger.
Not just hang up. Just get off the phone.
I don't have any Google Bites.
Google Bites.
She be on Google.
That sounds like a snack I would eat.
Yeah,
I would love me some Google Bites.
That's how the AI gonna get into you. Eat Google Bites.
Right. All they gotta do is cover some shit in Nutella and I'll eat it. Anyway, here we go. So mine is first we getting into summer season. It's summer in my head. I don't know why the weather keep dropping up and down, but soon as spring is over, soon as pollen season is over, it's summer in my mind. And so we are in the summer. And I want to tell you all about an app. If you follow me on social media, you already know about it. If you don't, then now I'm telling you, I'm putting you on. And it's called Swimply. Swimply. This is basically where somebody who got more money than you and has a pool in the back of their house say, you know what, I'm not even using my pool half the time. I'm going to Airbnb my pool out for this little event. And
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I haven't used it yet, though.
Yeah, we used it last year for my birthday. Well, my wife and my best friend planned a surprise birthday thing. And they used Swimply, where we went to a local neighborhood. This man had this nice, just great pool. Then he had cabanas and stuff set up out there. He had a hot tub. And basically, just like you would Airbnb, you put in your little zip code to tell you where you can go near you. And you can rent out that person's backyard. Usually, the person they have to have when you want to be registered on Swimply, you got to have all certain safety features or whatever and cameras and things like that, because they really don't want you. They don't want the people whose house it is just out there watching you swim.
Right. Now I said, do they be at home?
So our guy was home, but he set us up, and then he went on about his way. Now, was he watching on camera? I'm certain. There's a bunch of black people at a pool.
For sure.
Bunch of black
cameras.
women.
He probably was like, all right, guys. And then literally went to a control room. Okay,
right.
We've got
just sitting up there eating popcorn.
Screens 3, 7, and 9. Please watch.
Right.
That didn't get right. All right.
So as long as he wasn't out there watching us and trying to jump in the pool, we were cool. But different ones have different setups. And so I would definitely just say, if you like to, even if you don't know how to swim, I know black people. I know. We ain't got to say the loud thing out loud right now. We know. But if you just want to put your feet in the pool, or if you want to be in a pool-like setting, okay? If you want to just have your kids run around with water guns, you know what I mean? Yeah, just splash around a little bit. Or if you want to actually swim, if you grew up and, we got to say it. If you're not, all right. So that's Swimply. Everybody check it out. They didn't pay me, and I'm not asking to pay. I just love to swim. I love the water. And so I just wanted to share.
It's so great. I wish everybody could be as good a swimmer as I am. But that comes with time. Do you remember, not touching on that, moving on.
But you don't know how to swim.
Yeah. Well, wow. That was a lie.
Because this is
a fact show.
You just lied though.
I can swim though.
Okay. All right. Keep going. What were you saying?
I feel like just because I can't kick it in the ocean for a long time.
You don't know how to swim, friend. You know how to doggy paddle. And that's okay.
What's that is?
Surviving.
What?
Surviving.
Okay. That's swimming. I can survive in a pool. I can tell you what. Let me tell you. So this is why she tells me I don't know how to swim. And okay, maybe that's classified. Some people, I feel like the people who don't know how to swim, oh no, I can't jump. I can jump into 12 feet. I can jump in it. I can get in there, dive up, come up, get my air, and I just got to head on out. I just got to head on to the other side of the pool.
And tell me the technique that you're going to use to get on out of there.
No, baby. I'm not going to. No, I can swim. I can swim out of there. I can breaststroke out of there. I can backstroke out of there. What I can't do is stay there. I got every kind of swimming technique. Oh, baby, I can do it. The only thing I can't do is tread water. It won't work. The panic sets in. When
okay,
come up,
I'm gonna let you
come up, and everybody's hanging out there. Everybody hanging out in the 12 feet, throwing the ball around. Oh, I'll be like, dang, they doing it for 10 minutes. I got to go shoe.
So what I'm hearing is that you can swim, but you can't float.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly unassisted. Okay. All right.
I cannot float unassisted. Even somebody taught me how to lay on my back one summer, and that's cool. But even I don't want to do that forever. It's just everybody else. I can hear everybody else upright playing, move around. I'm just like, hey, y'all. This is my floating back. Somebody come get it. So Yeah, I can swim well. That's why people be saying like, I thought you could swim because it looked like make it look nice too.
What's
I jumped
killing
like
me is
12.
that everybody else is upright playing and you can hear them.
Yeah, you can hear them. Hey, yeah. Because I usually tell somebody, hey, somebody come get me and bring me down there. Y'all let somebody used to have to give me a float, then I can hang out. I don't mind it though. I'm also not the person. You know, the girls be like, I don't want no, baby. I don't all that. I mean, I look cute. I look good, body ready for this. I'm putting on a life jacket. I don't care what I got to put on to be with the crowd. And everybody's sexy. They got on that, look. I got on that too, but over it. Buckle mine up.
Please
Hey
stop.
y'all.
Just please.
Hey y'all. I want to get down there. Somebody watch her. Somebody get her. She needs to go back to. They be talking to me like a child too. She needs to go back to 4 feet. I don't have time to watch
me.
her.
It's me saying that. It's me saying that. Who's supervising Michi? Who's doing it?
It's really unnecessary.
So the second thing that I wanted to put people on was Apple TV. Okay, I just want to say they are coming out with some original programming that is really, really fucking good. I mean, I could just go on and on about some of these shows, but again, I'm going to touch on this a little bit later. It's why this fucking writer strike is pissing me off, because TV is my escape. Some people, when they stressed out, I don't know what y'all do. Maybe you go lift stuff and jump high for fun. Or maybe you, no. Or maybe, I don't know, you cook or, whatever. But my thing is to escape the bullshit of the day is to watch TV. And so I just want to say, if you have not, I don't know if you got to have an Apple TV to watch Apple TV. You don't.
No.
Good. Get a subscription. You okay? I think you can really let go of Showtime. You can really let go of I don't know, probably Paramount, some shit you ain't really watching, and go on over to Apple TV, because Ted Lasso, I could stop there. Then they got a show called Severance. Did I tell you about Severance?
You put me on that, Sarah. I watched it.
Severance is good. That was good. See, they got a show called See, where it's in the future, but everybody, all humanity, see with your eyeballs. And so everybody in this, like, let's say it's like the year 3000 or something, and all humanity has lost sight. And so they're living a world that's like post-apocalyptic, but no one can see, but a few children, maybe 1 or 2, are born with sight. And you can just see how clumsy they are as they move through the world, as everybody else has to rely on their other senses. It's really good. Shrinking, Truth Be Told, with Octavia Spencer. It's just a lot of good shows out there, but my favorites are Severance, See, and then there is another one called Foundation. A show. Check this one out, Meech. Foundation. I don't know. I can't name none of these white people, but basically, so you ain't gonna watch because they're white people. All right. Well, Truth Be Told got black people. Gabrielle, you most recent season, but Foundation is like a space age kind of thing, where instead of electing a new king, they decided to just replicate themselves. Like, so the king, always the same king. So you got Cleon the first, the second, the third, the fourth, and only 3 can be living at one time. So you have one that they call like the sunset, the dawn or something, and then the sunrise or whatever. Either way, it's the same person, just at different times. So they're always training their next person. Could you
imagine operating with 3 of me, 3 of you, 3 of yourself?
So you see baby you and then older you.
So they're not even the same age.
They're all 3 different stages of life. Yeah.
Oh, that might be cute. Little me might be. I wasn't right.
So you see yourself replicating the same patterns. Like, hey, little Shell, this is something you always do. Like, let's say it's my time
right now.
I'm in my 40s. I am the king. And then I see the guy, the Michelle on the other side. I'm a queen, right? I'm the queen. I see myself on the other side on through. Shut your ass up.
Yeah, I don't care about your pronouns. Okay. Herschel Walker. What is the pronoun? I don't care if you want to be the king. You can be the king. Go ahead. You the king and go ahead.
And I'm in my 40s. And then I'm seeing the queen regent. Okay. That's the queen that has just passed. And let's say she's in her 70s. And then there's little me, who's like 8. And older me is trying to say, hey, this is what I dealt with in my reign. We tend to do this because this is who we are. And I'm like, you don't know, Queen Regent, I'm going to do something different. And then there's 8-year-old me following into the same patterns. And I'm like, hey, be different.
So you can talk to them.
Yeah, we all living together. Because essentially it's like we train and we're running this world
Little
together.
Me would be a beast. I would be like, listen to me. You don't got to do none of that shit they saying. I know
Who?
you want
Which
to
one
make
is
them
it? Is
laugh.
this you in your 40s telling you this,
This
or
is
this,
me and my well,
or the
me in my
older
30s.
version of
This
you?
is myself right now. That's 30s. So
Oh, okay. Oh,
talking
okay.
to Meech, that's 10.
Yeah.
And Meech that's like, y'all, I got a joke to tell because I'm, making the class laugh. I can say, sit your ass down. And you don't got to make them laugh because later on, you're going to be doing that shit and they ain't even going to be paying you for it. Right? You know what I mean?
Almighty.
All I know is she would be a dog. If I
Yes,
could
I'm
talk to
telling you.
Little Meech now and be like, and don't do that with your money, me.
Now, would you listen to older Meech? You got 75-year-old Meech there trying to give you some
So wait,
advice too.
if they make a nut, so I was under the impression that it can only go under. So they
No,
can,
no,
I
no.
can make an older me,
Yeah, because you were the younger you at some point, and then you're gonna die off.
but
And when
I'm
you
not the
die,
older me already.
it's
I haven't
it's
been there yet. So how am I going to make a 70? Like the most up to date recent ever has been Meech is 34.
okay. Follow me here.
Come
On
on.
Foundation,
Uh-huh.
the first king said, "I'm so good at this, I don't think nobody else should be king." So they took his genes and
I
they
get that,
made.
but he was already 70. So we're just gonna make a basically an assumption that I had reached 70. What I'm saying is that even if I'm like, I'm amazing, I want some successors.
Yeah, the first time, but they done did this. Like, we're on Cleon the 14th now.
I get it. So I'm saying for the sake of the show, yeah. But right now and today, like if we were doing it right now.
Oh, okay, right now, yeah.
Come on,
but I know, but I had asked you to.
I would listen. Yeah, I would. Yeah, why not? I'm like so. That's just fun fact about me. I'm such a proponent for like, I'm not. I don't learn lessons hard like from other people. If somebody tells me something because they've done it, I'm pretty much. I don't got to be like touch the stove to see if it's hot kind of girl.
Gotcha.
I'm not that.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm wired for sound. If you be like, hey, listen, young blood.
Yeah, I'm very much so. Touch the stove, see if it's hot.
I'm not. I don't need it.
Very much so. Because I would say to 70-year-old me, if she were here, like, yeah, but you were alive in the 50s and 60s. You're not facing the shit I'm facing now. Then she's like, I'm telling you, the core of it are the principles. And while I have a reverence for senior people, I just know at my core, there's a little doubt that says, yeah, but you're not doing it like I'm doing it. And so there's a little.
It depends on what it is. On what 70-year-old me just saying, hey, I wouldn't fool in that. Because, men gonna be men. Because, I would like to think, for a long time, I used to look up this is so completely off. I love Betty Wright. You know what I'm saying?
There was an old lady sitting under a tree. She called me over and she said to me,
What'd she say?
My days left here may not be long.
She would. She know.
I wouldn't waste my time telling you nothing wrong. Guess what? But love is a flower that needs the sun and the rain. A little bit of pleasure is worth a whole lot of pain. If you learn the secret.
Stop. That's where me and Betty, that's where it's at. Because like I was rocking. You see how I was there? You see how I was with you? Come on, Betty. And I'm talking about, I was young listening to Betty. I heard her early. I'm talking about 12, 11. I was like, I like this lady.
Pivotal songs in my childhood. No Pain, No Gain, and Karen White, Superwoman.
Come on, I'm not.
Early in the morning.
Stop. You ain't got to finish that shit.
Breakfast on.
Stop.
You ain't putting no breakfast on early in the morning?
She went too far with it. Yeah, I am. Because she keeps going, because that's fine. I am actually. I love to cook. I'm putting your breakfast on the table. I'm going to do what she said. I make sure you get your coffee. Got it. Sugar and cream. Your toast done lightly. And then what the fuck she say? All that's missing. I done did all the. Go, just like that right quick. What she made for breakfast?
I don't know. You had to be down for me. I got to sing it to get it.
And make sure you got it. Make sure I put breakfast on your table. Yeah. What kind of breakfast? We just gonna assume she made sausage, grits, eggs.
Dang, grits are a weekend thing for me. I know we on a tangent, but I ain't eating no grits in the middle of the week. Who got time? Keep going though.
Oh man, I got time. I'll make it for him. I'll make it for you.
Hey, listen.
So yeah, but then again, I'm not your superwoman. I got grits. Okay, I'm making grits. I got your what you say? Grits, eggs, bacon. Your toast done lightly. That toast took crack because that's craftsmanship. I didn't just throw your toast in there, turn the shit on 5.
I kept checking it to see if it's how you like it.
To making sure if I didn't turn it down to 2 to make sure it was lightly, I hit the handle of that thing. I popped it out of there when it was lightly. Okay, but all that was missing was your morning kiss that used to greet me. But
she couldn't even get a kiss.
Sat down at the breakfast that she need. Now you say the juice is sour. Used to be sweet. Boy,
now you just complaining about every fucking thing. I ain't have to get up and do nothing.
I ain't have done it. So yeah, I lost it. So my old Meech, it depends on what she's saying, because I used to revere Betty, and Betty said, a little bit of pleasure with a whole lot of pain. Who told you that shit, Betty? You got me.
That's a miserable life.
That's a miserable life. You got me fucked up 7 ways to Sunday. Absolutely not. She didn't even say pleasure's worth pain. I could even went with that. Sis said a little bit of pleasure's worth a whole lot of pain. That barometer is fucking off.
A whole lot of a little
whole
bit
lot.
versus
bit
a whole lot of.
Not to me.
Would you rather? That's like saying $5 is worth losing millions of dollars. No, it ain't.
It is. Yeah,
a little bit and a whole lot of.
Yeah, a whole lot of. That's literally what she did was validate them. Then when they be, oh, I hate that I'm stuck in my marriage. We really, I promise you, on Mondays he is really nice to me.
But
the other damn 6 days a week, it's just hell. But I live
baby,
to
also
see a
the
Monday.
same woman that called that other lady. Hello, Barbara. This is Shirley talking that bullshit.
Not that one.
So anyway,
they want better.
It what?
No, Barbara, this is Shirley. No, I was Shirley. Murdoch on it.
No, that was Betty Wright.
It won't Betty Wright.
All right. So that I'm letting you have it. I want to be very clear. I'm letting you have it.
It could have been Betty. I mean, I ain't gonna fight for it.
It could have been. Okay. Anywho, so that was the put on.
Whether you be cool, she did. Whether you be cool or come out of a bag on me, it really does. Okay. It really don't make any difference. Okay, all right.
You see what I'm saying? She's been on that bullshit.
Let's keep going.
Speaking of being on that bullshit, we on our new segment here, or our segment. People just be saying shit.
Yeah.
People just be saying shit, and can I get us started?
Of course you can. Tell me what it is about them.
So what? People be saying shit. People be saying shit. It's just where we pull stuff from the shit that we just be overhearing that y'all be saying. When we say people, I'm mostly talking about Black people. Sometimes if I'm not talking about Black people, I'll be clear. But and so today I'm talking about all people in this day and age. Just be saying shit. This is where we introduce you to the shit that y'all be saying and add our 2 cents or some points of clarity. We bring in the fucking facts.
All right. Okay? Let's get it. You kicking it?
Yeah, I'm gonna kick us off. And I'm gonna introduce y'all to a word before I go into the shit y'all just be saying. And the word is pedantic. Say that with me. Pedantic.
Pedantic.
Wonderful. To be pedantic, or a person that is pedantic, is described as a pedant, right? Not to be confused with a peasant, not to be confused with a pendant. Pedant, P-E-D-A-N-T.
And that is someone who what?
So someone who is pedantic is someone that just brings up all of the minor minutia details that they find flaw in your argument, right? So it's the idea of I'm talking about something, and then someone says, well, if I say, shout out to all the mothers, and then someone says, well, did you consider the fact that 30% of Black people don't have mothers? And it's like, okay.
Or you making a larger argument, and then maybe you say something small and correct, but not affecting the larger picture. But it's like, well, when you did say this one word, and that's not technically.
Well, see, I'm glad you brought that up. When I get nitpicky about the words, that's semantics, right? So people do both. But what I watched, and this is not us talking about this thing that everybody has been talking about for the past week and a half. Before the Chris Brown and Usher fight, this is all y'all were talking about, which is this Ebony K. Williams bus driver thing. I'm zooming away from that and calling attention to the fact that what y'all did in that conversation, with that conversation, is became pedantic. Y'all start, well, actually, when you think about this and this and this and this, that ain't what that lady said. And even still, that lady gets to have her opinion. Again, I'm not talking about that, but I have noticed in all of our social discourse, number one, a lot of y'all, and I mean Black people here, are anti-intellectuals. Y'all don't like scholars. Y'all don't like when people come in with facts. Y'all don't like it. You don't like it because you start to feel like, well, who the fuck is you? Someone who studied that for 15 years.
You ever want to have somebody, you know how pissed off you go make somebody by not calling them stupid or calling you a dumbass? You are anti-intellectual. If I was one of them, I'd say, bitch. Excuse me, bitch.
I noticed that people were against intellect in this time when COVID was happening, and y'all saw the studies. Y'all saw Fauci, and all these hardworking people trying to tell y'all how to fucking survive, and y'all like, my auntie said if I drink a cap full of castor oil and suck on a lemon, and then y'all had tea, I told them I drink Earl Grey tea, and that's why I ain't never had it. Or maybe you got the money to not be around fucking other people, and that's why you ain't been exposed to the shit. It ain't the Earl Grey.
It's the ginger ale, though. It's the ginger ale.
The ginger ale will do it. But anyway, pedantic is what a lot of y'all are. When I'm making a point, and let's say I'm talking about something that's specific to Black women, and someone says, well, Latino women actually deal with that as well. Sure, right? Because the definition of a pedant is a person who is excessively concerned with minor details and rules, or with displaying useful yet unrelated academic learning. So the thing is, if I'm talking about Black women and you say, well, actually, Latino women, yes, valid. But guess what? That's not what I'm talking about right now. And when I start to have to make my conversation so broad that it fits everything that everybody thinks and every consideration, then guess what? It's fucking nothing. If something is everything, then it's nothing. Right? The idea is that people get to be specific with their fucking words, and we don't need you coming in, bringing in this other point. It really is a tactic of arguing.
It is
to make somebody fatigued and tired, such that they stop trying to make any point because they can't be specific enough for you. The idea here is to cut that bullshit out. I'm fucking sick of it. Right? The idea is that people get caught up in, and I want y'all to stop using semantics every time somebody asks you to be a little bit more specific. They be like, well, that's semantics. No, what you're saying doesn't make sense. Or stop conflating semantics with pedantics. Right? Semantics is when I get nitpicky about the words. They say, well, actually, you didn't mean nitpicky. You actually meant specific or nuanced or highly detailed. Okay. Because you know what the fucking point I'm making is.
You know what the point is.
And you want to get me caught up in this wheel of bullshit.
Because now I'm exhausted. Topic, and now I'm back, I'm on to arguing with you about the semantics and the small details or whatever.
That's it.
That's it. The lady said what she said. That's all I got to say. I don't care nothing about her life. They went in her life, and you know who she's dating, blah, blah, all of that may be facts. And she can still be, you could disagree with what she said. You know what I would.
Guess what? You can disagree.
That's the thing, though. They don't like to. They want you need to say what I'm saying, feel how I feel. It's like, no, it's not. You can definitely just be like, oh, okay, based off your thoughts, I probably wouldn't date you.
Yeah. I'm a terrible person to argue with. Because, and I think you and I have talked about this. I can see your logic and stuff. We just don't have to agree. Like, unless the only thing that I will get sort of caught up on is if I'm not understanding your logic. I'm not having every conversation with the goal of agreeing. Right? You just said that Betty Wright met with Shirley Murdoch. Okay. Cool. Why would I get into the weeds of arguing something?
And you know what that does?
It pisses people off.
No, it doesn't even, or it pisses people off, but it more than likely, because like you said, people get exhausted with trying to bring their point home. Just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone.
And you'll see it be like me. Well, it might have been Betty. Maybe it was. You might have been.
That's it.
It was Betty. It's right. Look, Betty. I don't mind. And then that's another thing too, is granted, this doesn't have to do with, pedantics. Well, I don't know if it does or not, but like, I think you have to be careful who you're arguing with, right? Because people can get so consumed. Like, an argument is just that. You present information, I present information. Maybe we agree to disagree. But the best thing about arguing with me is I'm going to argue my point with what I have. If you present me with information that I did not have, the argument can shift instantaneously if it calls for it, right? That's what being a good just person to argue with, or subject or whatever is. Like, hey, well, I didn't have that. I could be strong in it. People feel like, well, I came in too strong. I can't change now. And it's just like, yeah, you can.
Yes, you can. I didn't know that before. I know now. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. You know what? So yeah, I guess I do feel this way, or I guess I have disagreed. But yeah.
But when you're anti-intellectualism, you can't accept that you don't know everything.
No, you can't. I don't know. I'm still standing on what I said. It's just like, okay, you can. But there's literally been almost 17 facts that's been presented before you.
That's it.
Like, I don't know. Like I said what I said. I said what I said has become, it's a gift and a curse. I get it. Stand on it. but not to a fault.
Right.
Like that new phrase was introduced and it's been like a detriment. I said what I said. It's just like, okay.
Okay. All right. That's my thing. That's my thing with this about being in ways in which people are having conversations. My advice to everyone moving forward is to not let people trip you up in a point that you're trying to make. Number one, when you know what you know it. And then, like Meech said, be willing to pivot when you get new information. And then also don't let nobody suck you into a pointless argument. Last thing, and I'm gonna move on. The reason that a lot of people argue or get into arguments is that a lot of folks, when they are talking, and in my experience, notice how I'm qualifying this here, because it's hard for you to debate my experience. So in my experience, the people that I have seen that really get into these arguments are people, mostly men, that will express, this is why we started this whole podcast, not for men specifically, but people that will express their opinion as though it is facts. Right. And you see, just other way that this conversation could have went is why I say men always do that shit. Men love to say that their opinions are fact. They'll say, nope, that ain't right. And really, it's their fucking opinion. See, but what I did, because I am a communicator and I want to be understood and I want to understand others, to say, in my experience, the main people that exhibit that behavior of arguing their opinion as a fact are men. So that means it's hard for you to argue with that point. And I'm not saying in my experience, just so you can't argue with me, but it literally is my experience. And then you come in and say, well, in my experience, it's been this. And now we understand where we're both coming from and we can move forward in the argument. Instead of be like, nah, seen this and not seen that. Okay.
I'm going to insert a level of my experience and say that it's self-proclaimed alpha people. I'm going to say that it's those men that are, I'm an alpha male, whatever that is. And then the women that are alike. Like there are women that are, the strong-minded alpha women. They are, because they are I said what I said. Those are those who I'm talking about. Where it's just like, okay, new information was presented. Yeah, well, I said what I said. I'm standing on that. It's just like, okay.
All right.
Yeah. So, and notice I say self-proclaimed because, I don't not subscribe to, the idea that there are, alpha males, alpha females, whatever, by the definition. But usually those people aren't announcing that they are. So the self-proclaimed ones are usually the ones that are hell. Exactly. But yeah, that was a good one. So my people just be saying shit a little bit lighter. I'm going to hit you with something and I want you to finish it for me. Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to say, it's just me and you.
Ooh, baby.
Just us two. And I'm going to say, finish that up.
Don't worry, because you don't need nobody else.
Wrong.
What?
I'm with you. That don't worry about a damn thing. It's not it.
What is he saying?
Would you believe?
Nope.
Me, if I told you that man set up there, that's a deep. The words are, don't worry about Ricky. Don't worry about Michael. Don't worry about Bobby, baby. None of that. I don't care what nobody said. None of that shit was said, but it was said.
Don't worry, Ricky. What is
Look at you. Where did that even go?
It was Ricky.
It was never a repetitive. Don't worry about it. Worry about it. It was don't worry about it, Ricky. Don't worry about it, Michael. About it, Bobby, baby. Because in his mind, he said he had an obsession with New Edition, and it just worked at the time to throw the names.
I can't situate the words in it. So you saying, don't worry about a Ricky. Don't worry about a Bobby.
Michael and a Bobby, baby.
And a Bobby, baby.
And a Bobby, baby. And Bobby, baby. It's just me and you.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
You also just put me on.
I know. I just
insert clip here.
Insert clip here.
Of a lazy writer, sometime more of a musician, And, so one of my favorite groups is New Edition, right? So I just used these names. I said, just me and you, ooh, baby. I said, don't worry about Ricky, don't worry about Michael, don't worry about Bobby, baby. I mean, those are my dudes, but I just had to use those names,
You gotta be kidding me. I have been listening to that song for a long time. And I have never heard that ever.
So now, in this case, we are the people. People just be saying shit. I'm the people. You the people. We are the people that be saying shit because baby, I'm people. Good for eyes closed. Worry about. Listen.
Wow.
That's that. On the next segment, we're on. Let's get it. Let's go, y'all. If it ain't one thing,
it's another.
It's another.
Can't win for losing.
You can't win for losing. You got to rob Peter to pay all of the things. If it ain't one damn thing, it's another. That's the name of this next segment, where it is quite literal. If it ain't one thing, it's another. As soon as you get to get, you know what I mean? As soon as you done got your oil changed, okay? You done got the car washed. Yep. It look good. You get in there to start that, it don't start.
Or you start driving and you blow out a tire. Now you got a clean car on the side of the road. That's what this segment is like. If it ain't one thing, it's another. What you got for him, Meech?
My one thing is the US dollar crash. And that one thing is because, most of us, even if still, and I'm just going, I don't know where everybody pockets it. Most of us, we just getting good to getting some money. Mm-hmm. You telling me that the little money I'm trying to save up and put together, scrounge together to do a little something with, make a little move. Now it ain't worth a damn. That's what you're telling me.
Worth a damn in comparison to what?
Anybody else's damn money.
Damn.
I'm a world traveler. That's what I do. That's what I do. Most of the places you name it, the continent, I've been there, with the exception of a few. And you can go somewhere, okay? Anywhere mostly. If you're not in like Europe or something. But even there, you go over there, and if you got some US dollars on you, that's a big thing. It's a good thing.
You can get a whole lot of.
You can get a whole
for a little.
For a little of all. You know what I mean? That $25 over in Thailand is going to take you a long way. Mm-hmm. You hear me? That's going to take you a long way. That's what that means. Anywhere. Your small US money is going to carry you a long way anywhere else. Anywhere else has officially took a stance. And when I say anywhere else, I mean everywhere else that said, you know what, that money ain't shit. Don't you bring that bullshit over here. Damn. Won't get your ass, get your eye face, get your ass sent home. That's how they act. You coming over there with that money, we know y'all money ain't worth a damn.
It's being American and living in America.
Yeah.
Is what I was about to say is fucked up, but it's turning into being anything other than a Delta or AKA.
Shout out to all my stores and my sweet stores.
Where you got it, you know what I mean? This is what I said. This is my analogy here.
Ain't don't throw the shade. I'm glad you threw the shade.
No shade. It's just like being a Delta, being an AKA is like easy. It's like default. It's like, yeah, you did the most popular things that they could do. It's like you want to go to a HBCU, you're going to go to Spelman or Howard. It's like the default. Then we know there are lots of other HBCUs that matter, but when rappers get a little come up, where they giving money to? Howard, right? Pledging another organization other than Delta AKA, you got to have a certain vibrato. You got to have that chip on your shoulder because people giving you a hard time. You're an SG Row, people like, so you got to go hard.
Yeah.
Same thing with living in America now. It's getting like
it used to be the chip.
It used to be the one, but now it's like I'm hearing, I'm on TikTok, so I be seeing like ads that are running in other countries for just 50 whatever insert currency here. You can save a starving child in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for just 75 yen a day. You can save little Aunt Emily in Northbridge, Massachusetts.
You can get Flint, Michigan, clean water.
You see what I'm saying? Or they like travel advisories, literally for not coming to America. Like, be careful when you go there. Like how some years ago they were saying, if you go to Mexico, well, maybe not even years ago, anyway, you get your head chopped off. And it was like, whoa, bad press for Mexico. Now every day there's a mass shooting. And so people are like, be careful if you go to America. Don't go to concerts. Don't go to churches. Don't ride public transportation. Don't be in public because you can get shot by your friendly neighbor.
Does not care.
Right. Everybody has a gun there. They act like we all walk around like.
Yeah, they do. If that was them, I put a picture of it. I put a picture of someone. This is America. That's it. Just living up. That's it. That's what it needs to be. I wish if I had my own country, I sure would. I run it. That should be running all
Oh
day.
God. After all the shit America has said, that man got on TV and said shithole countries, said he want to make this place great again. Obviously, that is admitting a deficit, number one. And then second, gonna tell the people with they need to go back to their shithole countries. Yet and still, here we are today.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have literally
dollar ain't worth shit. I could have, you know what? I could have figured that out. I made good money. Can't buy a house. The house that used to cost $180,000 now costs $425,000.
That's out of here. As I said, you just start to get money. You want me to think about blah. You get into this good money. It ain't worth a damn. God, it's not worth a damn, and you be feeling like that's why I don't engage in these arguments. These arguments, a nigga gotta make, and bitch, go shut up. Everybody, we all finna be broke in a minute.
Right. What's that study say? Like only 40% of the country can survive a $400 loss.
$400 emergency. If something happens, you gotta blow out. They cut your whatever it is.
I don't care how many tailfire bags you buy. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's struggling with it. Unless you want to buy some eggs that's bright yellow, that just came out of a lab. The price of eggs it's through the roof.
It's through the roof. And the people that are talking the junk, they're talking all the shit. You think you're not struggling, but you are. How many rental properties do you have? Because as an American, you should have several.
Let them tell it.
You struggling. I don't have my rent paid. You know what I'm saying? I got money. Got money. No, you don't. Like you are struggling. Everybody talking about six figures is such a damn broad range. $100,000 is nothing. Depending on where you make $100,000 in New York, baby, you might as well make 7.
Which does lead me to my if it ain't one thing, it's another.
Get into
it. Which is this writer strike. Now, I have this on my list because, like I said, if I can't get a reprieve from none of this other bullshit any other place, I could turn on the idiot box and watch some shit. If you haven't seen, what's the name of that movie with Daniel Williams? Bamboozled. That's where I got that from. But everybody calls the TV that. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
Read the fucking book. But anyway, if I couldn't get a reprieve from none of the day-to-day stresses in my actual life, I could turn on a television and watch something where some people have put time and creativity into some shit and made it happen. And now, because the fucking studio execs don't want to distribute the wealth, we in a fucking writer strike. When was the last time we had a writer strike? 15 years ago. And you know what happened as a result of that? All the fucking reality TV that we see now. Writers said, we're not doing this shit. We're not going to take it. The only difference.
I don't engage in it.
Listen, the only reason we're not seeing the same kind of backlash that we saw to the writer strike before and all of this reality TV stuff is because we have streaming. So nobody's sitting at home waiting for Grey's Anatomy to come on at 8:00 or Family Matters to come on at 8:30 or whatever the fuck, whenever the last time you was clocked into TV. Everybody's streaming shit. And so the writers are basically, there's 3 points that I looked up that the writers are upset about. And they're not hard. They're not hard. And I say upset, and I don't mean that to trivialize. Seems like things that should just make fucking common sense. The writers have seen basically a 23% decline in pay over the last year when you adjust for inflation. So most jobs, you get a cost of living increase. Like we talked about, the dollar ain't worth shit. So that would mean that your job should be giving you extra money, even if you're on fixed income, Social Security, whatever. They should be giving you extra money to compensate for the value of the dollar declining. That has not happened with writers. So basically, they've seen their pay cut by 23% when you compare it to the cost of living wherever they are. The second issue is residual payments. Now, I always wondered what it must be like to put some type of content out into the world and just have those checks come to me every month. And this writer on TikTok, this was before the strike, but I remember a writer on TikTok, and he's been on some big shows that we've talked about. He opened all of his checks from like residuals that he was getting from writing. And one was like $7. Another was $23. One was $200 and something, and that was like I think he was a writer on like one. I think your favorite show, King of Queens, right?
Oh yeah.
And and then another check was like $3. He totaled it all together. It was like $336 that he made a month from like 4 or 5 big shows that he was writing on, right? And he's displaying that information. And I'm not saying that every writer is making that little, but I saw a lady that was down in the protest and she was like, I'm thinking about the fact that I might have to write on 6 shows just to have a middle class income. Middle, right? And what part that doesn't make sense to me, this is a big part of the third one is they want to limit the use of artificial intelligence, bringing it back full circle. They want to limit the use of AI in writing scripts, which makes sense to me. If we're at the negotiating table, I'm going to bring up the fact that I know that as a studio exec, you're thinking, if we can get rid of 2 writers and just bring in some AI to help fill in the gaps, or let AI write the script together and just bring on a writer or 2 to help fluff up it and make the humor more human. Obviously, as a studio exec, that seems to be cost efficient for them, but it's fucking over the writers. And so the idea is that what I saw is a writer on The Office. He said it used to be when he was a writer on The Office, he could write the shows, he would be in the studios, he could see basically everything about how a show was made, which means he could go from being a writer to a producer to someone that's working in lighting and working in post-production. But now writers are literally restricted to only being writers. There used to be a writer's room that used to have maybe 6, 7, 8 writers, maybe more, a team of writers. Right. And now they have many writer rooms, which is asking 3 or 2 writers sometimes to write an entire series or a set of shows. And so it's just like, again, I asked my homegirl who works out in Hollywood to kind of summarize. And she said that she wished she could be on the show to talk about it. But I said, can you just tell me a little bit about what's going on? And she said, the pay structure is one thing. Streaming specifically, if a show or episode has repeat value, people watching over and over again, writers are being paid pennies, about $40 per checks, when the network is making so much more money via the subscribers. So the writers aren't getting checks more times that you stream something. They're getting that one check from when they write it and when they wrote it and when it first aired. Right? So it says it's supposedly not all streaming platforms that are doing this, but it's mostly a lot of them. And then also being able to be promoted. A lot of staff writers are stuck being staff writers and are not getting enough work training, being on set, like I just mentioned with the guy from The Office, to go up the ladder for higher up productions and ultimately more money. And she said BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color, are the ones being impacted the most.
Of course they are.
Right? And so I'm just
the creatives. We're the creatives who push the culture forward. That's
exactly. And now they're basically, so it's like they asked for a 4 to 6% increase, and the studios responded back with 2 to 3% on one of the things. And I'm like, this is just wild. And then the last point, and then I'm just going to try to bring it home. The last point is that another reason writers aren't making a lot of money is that shows, when they came out on television, you might have a show like Lost or something like that that has 14, 15, 16 episodes. But now the actors are saying, we don't want to work that long. And most people don't want to watch seasons that long. So seasons are now, like the White Lotus, its last season was only 6 episodes or 7 episodes.
Yeah, it's usually like 6 to 10.
So now they're being paid for a shorter amount of time. So I'm like, so if the actors can say, well, I'm booked in. When I signed up for this, when I said I was coming on, I got my money. So I don't want to work 10, 15, 20 episodes. That means they're getting paid sufficiently. The studios are getting paid sufficiently, but the writers are the ones that suffer when this is happening. And it's like,
and it's so crazy because that's the show. That's
the show. I love that one of the signs for the protest said, pay us what we want or we're going to spoil the last season of Secession. Right. And they're saying stuff like, because we got the keys, and they
we wrote it.
I'll put it all out there. So Cynthia Nixon, who was on Sex and the City, she said, AI could never create the work that writers do. That's what a human mind does. Somebody also had a tweet saying that AI never came up with Miranda from Sex and the City eating cake out the garbage. It could only have been created by a deeply depressed, high-functioning writer. Right. That's the kind of stuff that you need human creativity for.
For sure.
So just give the people what they want. I'm not in the weeds. If you want to get more into the weeds, listen to the NPR podcast. Just Google it. But just give the people what we want, because we need a fucking break from all these mass murders and all this other bullshit that's going on.
Yeah, give the people what they want. And I think that sucks because, like you said, it's just the bottom. It's what makes it worse is that it's hard for them to strike because there's always some starving artists that'll do anything for pennies, and it won't last, of course.
Right.
You know what I mean? But to get their break, and it's just like, that's just how, it's how it is in general. I'm sure they struggle with that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I agree there.
So do you have a big fact?
No, but I do have emails that came in for our last episode. If you watched the last episode, we talked about epigenetics. On each episode, we do ask if you have questions, comments, concerns, you want to just share your piece, write in. Give me the email real quick again.
The email is facts.feelings.pod@gmail.com. That's facts spelled the way that facts are spelled, not the way that I'm saying it. So facts.feelings.pod.
Facts.
Facts.
So facts.feelings.pod@gmail. All right, boom. So last episode, we talked about epigenetics. That really got like a stir going. People that. People talked about it. The people that are not anti-intellectuals, the actual intellectuals, were really moved by it. We had somebody write in and was like, oh, I wish I could have sat in on this episode. And they talked about pretty much they pivoted a little bit about another way to look at epigenetics. We talked about matrilineal healing. I think we talked about, was that our topic? Yeah, we talked about that, but epigenetics spans broad. So a fun fact, and I'll keep the email short. This person did recommend the book, The Body Keeps the Score by Besser Vander Kolk. You can look that up. The book is called The Body Keeps the Score. And it is also about a segment about epigenetics also and what that looks like. An example could be, a lot of cultures, I'm not just gonna put it on Black culture, a lot of cultures do believe in what do you call it, corporal punishment or whipping kids, right?
Yeah.
So we all got whippings, of course. We weren't products of progressive parenting, right? But then there are some kids, and you always see those kids, or you always see them friends where their mama just doing a lot. You know what I mean? It's just like their mama or their parents, it's like they're really getting abused, right? And so, that's with the mamas, them hood ghetto mamas, they trying to square up with their daughters, really deeply rooted bad issues. You know what I mean? And so they trying to actually fight them. And so what happens is that a lot of times you'll see Black girls go through puberty early, right? We all got our, periods around 8th grade, whatever. It's when you should, 7th, 8th, 9th grade. And you ever seen where girls get them in 4th grade and 5th grade? So obviously it's definitely, we're not going to attribute it 100%. There's definitely diet things that can happen. Environmental factors play a lot into it. The result of the whoopings, right? Those girls' bodies, right, have started to try to mature them at a faster rate, right? So their bodies have said, hey, you are getting your ass beat every day. And it is by someone much larger than you, much bigger than you. So we need to make you be able to defend yourself. And so it happens with boys too. You ever see little boys like, damn, that little boy look like he about 16 years old. Little boys with facial hair. It's your body tries to grow you up in an effort to get you out of the situation. Like, I'm going to make you an adult faster so that you can go from there because you are in danger. What did you go back say, Molly? You in danger, girl?
You in danger, girl.
You in danger, girl. So yeah.
Wow.
Get into epigenetics. Take a look at the book. I'm definitely going to read the book. I haven't read it. The Body Keeps the Score. And I think that's crazy, right? Like we don't know that. So we just think she's just being fast. She's just being grown. It's just like, damn, she's in 5th grade. She got a period already. But the question is why?
Right. Asking that question of why is this happening?
Why is that happening?
And epigenetics can give us some answers. Like when you tell me that, I mean, just this mind blowing to think about it. But when we talk about, again, the impact of the environment on our biology, and then again, how that can be passed down is wild. It's wild. It's wild. Which brings me to my big fact. That was like a letter, which I love. And it's also tied to, kind of what I'm talking about with the big facts, which are our last segment, which is the profound impact of loneliness on physical health. Right. So again, environment and biological health and well-being. So the headline that hit me was this. It says that the impact of loneliness is as detrimental to our physical health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
I heard that too.
That's the headline that hit me. So of course I'm like, okay, and I can't let that sensational headline just stop there. Right. So number one, I had to ask, how are they defining loneliness? This is the definition of loneliness. It's the gap between the amount of meaningful social contact that you want in comparison to what you are getting. So that means that it's subjective. No one can tell you that you shouldn't feel lonely or whatever. It's the gap between the meaningful social contact that you want and what you are actually getting. So some other points on this is it says the social isolation is associated with a 50% increase in the risk of dementia. So when you were talking about dementia or Alzheimer's, as much as I love my mind, I am terrified that this shit is just gone. Lee, what'd you say?
Let me say it. Stop saying dementia.
Dementia.
Yeah, that's what you say now. But first you said dementia.
Oh, okay. I gotta stop saying.
That's why I was just fucking.
But anyway, so social isolation is associated with a 50% increase in the chances of dementia. Poor social relationships can lead to a 29% increase in heart disease and a 32% chance of stroke. The people that are most impacted by this are first generation immigrants and LGBTQ folks. Why do you think it's those two groups?
Those two groups are most lonely?
No. Like the most, most impacted by this experience of loneliness. Why do you think that is?
Shit, I don't know, because the LGBTQ, our family isolation probably is associated with that. But I'm like, shit, the community is so big, everybody gay.
That's what everybody think. But if the people that I want to be, again, the gap
right, you said it's relative.
Between what I want. So if I don't have my family, if my friends, are being weird about it, or I having to find new friends that are like-minded, it does. People's
families, whole, and those are your people. Whether I feel like it's so easy for people to be like, if they're not supporting you, then fuck them. But it's just like, that's cool. But like, these are my people. They've been the people that I've known. It's the same way in a relationship. Something goes wrong, it ain't always fuck them. You go through, you forgive them, and you're looking for that. Like, okay, this is something you guys may not agree with, but let's keep it moving. And you can't keep it moving, and you can't force that.
Right.
So you have to, you have to take the stand for yourself, disown them or whatever.
That was my thing with the Black church, right? I love going to church. I did when I started to come out. I felt like that isolation. Like, I'm not gonna be here knowing that I am a Christian and that God made me as he or she wanted me to be, and then this church is saying that I'm going to hell. Like, so now I got to distance myself. Right. I got to distance myself from something that once felt very comforting. So again, loneliness, right? And so it's like the idea is to think about how often that is coming up. And a lot of people feel like, number one, we all like to be out. We in the streets, we out in the summer. But the worst loneliness I have ever felt is to feel lonely while in a relationship with somebody. Like you with somebody and you feel lonely, or to be in a group of people, to be out in a group of people and feel lonely. And I know that a lot of people, like, they're saying that loneliness, the U.S. Surgeon General just came out and said that loneliness is the current pandemic that we need to be addressing right now. Loneliness and the way that's impacting people. Social media is not helping. Take it out my mouth.
It's not helping. Social media makes that worse.
Yeah.
Because now I can experience, because that used to be a bonding thing. I'm experiencing loneliness. You're experiencing loneliness. We find each other and, hey man, let's hang out. Let's get drinks. But now I'm experiencing loneliness, but I put it out on my social media as if I'm perfectly fine. And you do the same thing. And so now there's just a bunch of fakeness going on. When I close my phone, I'm lonely. And the other two things that you mentioned are so true. And I think the relationship one is worse. Being lonely inside of a relationship and lonely amongst a group of people, because the group of people one is almost like a realization. And it's just like, yo, this ain't my crowd no more. You know what I mean? Or I've been rolling with these people, and that usually happens as you're leveling up. You know what I mean? Like you go home and you've been away, you're trying to hang with your high school friends and stuff, but it's just like, child, this is not it. I gotta
Right.
go. You know what I mean?
Right.
But inside of a relationship where you kind of committed, depending on where you are in the stage of it, that shit is tough. And
It's tough.
It is one of the worst feelings ever.
Which
to be like, ugh.
we should talk about this in the future, because if we kind of pivot our thinking like our girl Esther Perel told us to do, maybe we wouldn't be lonely in a relationship because we wouldn't be expecting our partner to be all of our socialization, right? But now we have a lot of weight on that. But either way, I know what they mean, because I've been in relationships before where I felt like you ain't really team us. You team you.
You team you the long way. Like, you ain't really us.
So it's something to think about.
Whatever you can do for you, but like, where's the us thing?
Right. And I want to play this clip. This will be the last thing. I want to play this clip that this lady had put out on TikTok. It's and I'm going to insert it into it. Yeah, you want me? Well, you got to hear it right now because I need your response to it.
But I feel like I'm dying from like touch starvation, y'all. I don't get hugs. I don't know. I feel like if I were to get the kind of hug that I fucking really want, I would crumble into pieces. I don't. How do you deal with that? I really
know exactly what that is. I saw that clip.
Yeah.
And that's tough. And I felt so bad. And it's so funny because of course you got people in the comments that are like, oh, you know, you are loved, you are whatever. But even it's fake. And I feel like comments are a source of.
It's not really there.
It's not tangible. It's the call me if you need me, girl.
Yes.
Oh, you're going through something, somebody's died, you know I'm here for you. But it's just like I can't materialize that. And if I do, are you?
Right.
Like if I do, are you?
And I'm physically talking about touch. Like you saying, girl, you are loved. It's not when I had my first job away from like my family and I was living in Orlando. And it wasn't a thing where I didn't have the resources to get home. The way my job was structured, I could not leave the area, and I didn't have family in Orlando. And I remember there was a period of like, maybe like, it was like maybe 6 or 7 months where I couldn't get home. And the only interaction I had was with my coworkers, which was like a firm handshake when we first met each other. But I was like, I haven't been hugged by anybody. I haven't had a meaningful high five, because the only people I was interacting with were my employees or my coworkers. And it's like, they not running and give you a big old hug. And I remember
I want that. It's work.
Yeah. And I started feeling like real depressed. Like, yo, I have not been around anybody that is really offering a loving touch other than fucking. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like just a warm embrace. Yeah. So when I saw that video, I was like, damn, I can't imagine that going on for, I mean, I thought I was going to lose it like after months. I can't imagine it being years.
Yeah. Not being hugged in a way that, and everybody knows what it can do. Like, not even trying to be dramatic or whatever, but like a good hug, like that can make you ever wanted to cry, but you've been holding it together.
Somebody be like, how are you? And
they just, or the right person, and just like, come here, give me a hug, and you just fall and be like, nah.
Listen, there's been times where I had to not hug somebody because I'm like, well, y'all are not prepared for what's about to happen.
What's going to happen? You thought it was just going to be a cute little hug, and I'm about to unload some shit on your head.
So it just goes to show that we are not meant to survive alone. Find you some community. I've been watching a lot of and reading a lot about this idea of having a third space. So a lot of people have work and you have home. And then they're saying everybody needs a third space where they can go, especially if you work from home like we do. You really need a space where you can go and interact with people in a meaningful way, because we can see that this idea of loneliness not only impacts like just how we feel in the moment, but it has like physical impacts, health disease, heart disease, stroke, suicide, earlier death. Like, it's crazy. So
what would that third space look like?
So for me, the third space has become like the gathering spot, or for some, it could be church, or it could be like hanging out with, like if you go to like a coffee shop, or
but you make that your routine.
Yeah.
The same way you go like work home.
Yep. It's a space where somebody knows you. They're expecting you there. It could be the gym, right? It could be a lot of space, a third space where you have, and you can meet people outside of your home that makes you feel affirmed.
Yeah.
So as we close this up, reach out and touch somebody's hand.
Here you go.
Make this world a better place.
If you can.
If you can. All right. Meech, close us out with something funny. Make us laugh.
I give you some tea. You know what? Never mind. The next put on is gonna blow your mind for the next episode. I'm saving it for that.
Ooh.
We're gonna close this out. Let's close this out. You know what? We're gonna close out how we came in. We appreciate y'all for coming out.
Yeah.
and watching us. Keep it up. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate the follows. We see y'all happen, liking, sharing. We appreciate all that. You can follow me on Instagram or all platforms, really, at Michi Davis. Spell how it sounds. M-E-E-T. Actually, it's not spelled at all how it sounds, but M-E-T-C-H-I-E Davis. And you can follow Fire. Same way. Fire Angelo. F-I-Y-A Angelo, like that lady she like. A-N-G-E-L-O-U.
I like
And
that.
yeah, we appreciate you for coming out. I'm closing out with a little Betty Wright. My baby and I are back together again. Loving is better than it's ever been. If it weren't for the trials we've been through,
Come on.
I'd never have the courage to come back to you.
Guess what?
We're all entitled to make a mistake.
Uh-huh.
We got to prepare for some heartbreak.
What were you doing?
I was earning my man while I was learning my man.
Who don't get it?
Something you young girls might not understand. No pain.
That's it.
No pain.
Mm-hmm.
No gain.
That's it.
No. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all for coming out.
That was good. You're so talented.
R.I.P. Betty.
Betty Wright dead?
I gotta go.
Is she?